once again. This is Jonathan Miller with the Hometown Historian channel and another episode of Haunted History. Today we're at Indiantown Gap at the military base where they have the airport and heliport. There's a story that goes back, I think probably back in like the 80s, early 90s, and this is another one of those I assume is true, but not really sure. But the way the story goes is that there was a pretty bad accident, helicopter accident, and one of the night security officers, he was making his rounds. His name was Chet, and he was just going around making his rounds, and out of the darkness walks a helicopter pilot, and he recognized the guy, and he said, "Hey, I really need such and such locker keys." And he was looking through his keys and was like, there must have been some kind of mistake, because one of the things that he did, one of his jobs, is he would hand the locker keys, assignments and things of that nature to the helicopter pilots, and it wasn't in his possession. He couldn't find it anywhere. Say, "Hey, I'm really sorry, I'll have to check with my supervisors in the morning, find out where these keys are for this particular locker, and then we'll get those to you as soon as we possibly can." He seemed a little strange, because the pilot seemed very confused and just something wasn't quite right, but he just went and walked back into the darkness. Really bothered him because it was odd. And then he started to think about it, and he thought, I thought that was the pilot that got in that accident. So he went and talked to the supervisors in the morning, and it turns out, indeed, it was. What made it even worse is that this guy had actually been killed, and it was grisly, where he had been decapitated. And Chet explained everything to his supervisor, and nobody could explain. He's like, "I don't know, maybe it was mistaken identity. I thought it was this guy, and it wasn't." It was just odd that the guy came at night as well. So the whole thing was bizarre. So Chet went home. He was really bothered by it, and he's like, "Well, nothing more is going to happen with this. It is what it is." Boy, was Chet wrong. So the next night, he's doing his whole thing, his route again that he was doing, and this pilot comes out of the darkness again. This time, though, Chet said it was very clear the guy was like beyond the grave. He was like cadaverous. He was pale. He just had that look of a dead corpse. Now, his head was still attached, but he was clearly from beyond the grave. And the guy asked again, "I need such and such locker keys." And Chet didn't know what to do at first. He's like, he was freaked out. And he's like, "Well, we haven't found them yet, and we're still looking." And the guy looked disappointed and confused, and he just sort of turned around and went back out into the darkness. To give Chet credit, he finished his shift. But they never saw the pilot after that. It was 2 nights. But so who knows? Maybe there's a helicopter pilot walking around the Indiantown Gap military base looking for his keys to his locker. Who knows? But I thought it was a cool story, unique. And being that I was from that area, I thought it'd be a neat story to tell. And it was one, honestly, I'd never heard of it. For living out there all the time, I just was doing research for haunted tales in this area, found this particular story, and I was like, this will be a cool one to tell. So Chet's still out there, or Chet, not Chet, but whatever the pilot's name, Chet's probably still freaked out, but the pilot's still out there looking for his keys. So if you see a guy wandering around, a helicopter pilot that has that gear on and looks like he's confused and possibly dead, that's the pilot. He's looking around for his keys. So, as always, thanks for coming along. I enjoyed telling another one of these tales, and as always, we'll see you about town.